Hello and welcome to the first in a regular series where I want to talk about our shared experiences of conversations with clients and friends alike as we once again go into an autumn of tax anxiety. I think there's been uncertainty in the UK over the last 10 years now. It started with Scottish referendums, the Brexit vote, COVID of course, and now we're getting regular headlines of how sustainable is the highly leveraged economy in this country. And I want to explore what that means for us, how it shapes our current financial advice and potentially our future financial advice. So what are these tax anxieties? The Chancellor's widely expected to need between 10 and 20 billion more in tax revenue this year to meet her own fiscal rules. In terms of spending, we know that we need to spend more on defence. And in terms of cutting spending in benefits, that's incredibly unpopular and to date isn't going to save a huge amount. So spending is going up. In terms of the tax take, well, there's anxiety over the very real movement of high net worth individuals and non-DOMs away from the UK, and that's going to put the tax burden on the rest of us. There's also rumours of the introduction of a wealth tax, which was first floated as an idea by a global pressure group, picked up by Neil Kinnock, and it's being kicked around at the moment, and the government really hasn't said yes or no, and the Chancellor hasn't ruled it out. So that's adding to anxiety. And of course, the increase in areas that were already hit in last year's budget. There'll be pensions, inheritance tax, capital gains tax, and the freezing again of all tax thresholds. So again, likely that they're going to come under scrutiny again this year. So why am I so keen to share this message in this particular format? I mean, for instance, we could have sent an email. However, I think it was really important and that we needed to really communicate and connect with the message that we're sitting alongside you and we're very much with you in finding ways to use planning to mitigate tax increases that you might face this year and going forward. I'm really keen that we get this message to as many people as possible about the different advice choices available, and hopefully that will leave people feeling less anxious and ready for the future. So I mentioned a series of video clips. We'll start off by looking at pensions and how our advice has had to adapt to the announcement last autumn that pensions are once again to be included in your estate from April 2027. And we've really got to watch out for those because there's a double tax in the hands of the beneficiary. First of all, there's inheritance tax on the pension as it's part of the estate, and then in the beneficiary's hands, the remaining pension is then taxed at income tax rates on that beneficiary. So definitely worth having a look at planning around that. We'll then move on to concentrate on wealth transfer advice, and in doing so, we will look at gifts out of surplus income. We've done a lot of work with people this year on making gifts out of surplus income. You've just got to be very careful about what type of income is created and what's allowable. We then look at gifts that are potential exempt transfers. That's the ones where you have to survive for 7 years to avoid inheritance tax. We'll look at the pros and cons of setting up trusts. We'll also look at the use of life insurance as a way of mitigating inheritance tax on an estate. We'll look at holding shares in BR companies, that's business relief. You have to hold it for 2 years before they qualify, so it's something certainly to consider. And we'll also look at deed of gifts, which is an interesting way of trying to mitigate some inheritance tax on your principal primary residence by making a deed of gift to your children. So that's the series. Look forward to catching up with you in the next few weeks.